Welcome, everybody, to Lessons for Life podcast. Thank you for joining us. My name is Troy Hudkins, and today we have our guest, Kate Kraft, with us. Kate, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Troy, for having me.
It's awesome that you can take your time out to be with us today.
My pleasure.
Great. To start with, who is Kate Kraft?
In this moment, she is sitting on a chair that she spends a lot of time meditating with. Her dog is close by, who she adores. Kate is someone who always tries to see the positive in anything and everything. Doesn't always succeed, of course. She loves horses, and she loves her family, and she loves life, and she's still curious.
Nice. So family is important to you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so who has been your biggest influence in your life, do you think? Your mother or your father?
Well, it's so strange because I guess it wasn't until my dad died that I realized how much he taught me, how much he was ahead of the stride. I mean, he was an amazing man, but it's sometimes once people pass that you start to reminisce about all the things that you just kind of took for granted. And so probably at this moment in my life, my dad, I do numerology. He was a master number guy. And he really, when I think of my dad, I can't not bring in this quote. And hopefully I don't mess it up too much. And I even read it at his funeral. And it's from Sai Baba. I think I'm saying it right. It's an Indian, beautiful Indian quote. And it's something like, before you speak, ask yourself, is it kind? Is it necessary? Is it true? And will it improve upon the silence?
Nice.
And that's my dad. My dad was a quiet man, yet once he passed, we realized all these stories creeped up about people in the neighborhood that would raid all the gardens, but never my dad's, because he talked to them. He talked to the kids that were, recluses, and he made agreements with them, but we didn't know that. My dad and his yard were like at one. He meditated, even though he didn't call it that. He could water the lawn with old-fashioned mechanisms. He didn't need the gadgets, and he would just stand there in his glory. And he loved to walk. He was a very simple man. So I have breakfast with him every morning. I used to be rushed in the morning and eat standing up. And once he passed, I put his picture on my kitchen table, and I rarely miss a morning with him now. So he's my guy.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
He's your go-to guy to keep grounded.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Of all the good traits your father has shown you, what do you think is one that you would like to pass along to any of the younger generations?
He never rushed. He was patient. He always waited for my mom, but he never was agitated. It was something like Eckhart Tolle used to say. Eckhart Tolle said he never waits. He's just enjoying the time. And that was my dad. So he always found a way. I never saw the guy rush ever.
Enjoy
and
the
I
moment.
think that's somehow he always had enough time.
Nice. Okay, so of all the traits, the good traits that your mother had, what do you think is one that you would take from her to pass along?
Let me think about that one. My mom is in quarantine right now, or I guess in lockdown, and so I have to dig a little deeper because her situation right now is just it's challenging. So I'm just kind of really trying to think of who she really is without the lockdown. I guess with my mom, she was kind of brilliant in the sense that she could retain so much information about all our friends, and she cared about when we told stories, and she seemed to just hold on to tidbits so that the next time, whether it was years later, she still somehow could tap into the story. She was, I can't remember what your question was, but now I'm just getting how, yeah, ask me the question again. Make sure I'm just not
Uh,
going off on a tangent here.
What good traits did she have that you
Yeah.
would like to pass along?
Hmm. My mom was committed to her faith.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice, nice.
Hmm.
Do you do you have siblings? Are you an only child?
I am the baby of four. I have an older
Nice,
sister, followed by a brother, and then a sister that's just a couple of years older than me. So four kids within 5 years.
nice.
Hmm.
And what kind of impact do you think your siblings had on your life and who you are now?
Hmm. Well, it's crazy that you say that. And I just got this like push to say this. They all actually pushed me to be, oh, oh I, I'm trying to say this in a positive way in case they ever hear this. My sisters and brothers were very in the box. I don't really even think that's true right now, but in my own perception as a young person, and when I was trying to figure out who I was, I remember thinking I needed to be different, and I always was. But I think sometimes because I was the youngest and, maybe not given as much, I always felt like, I was the last to kind of experience everything. I had to do it in my own way and in a different way. And I'm probably very different. I would see my siblings as all sort of being very similar and yet different, but I'm very different. I would be the one that they often would say was adopted.
I got the same thing from my siblings.
And aren't you a baby as well?
I am the baby, yep.
Yeah. See, I think there's something in the baby. Yeah.
We're the spoiled ones that always got everything, and we were punished for it by being told we were adopted.
I like that you can connect with that
Yeah,
one. That's good.
yeah. No, I always got told when we were young that go tell mom she's calling you, just so they could get me out of their hair, and they would go do their things. Yeah.
Oh.
What one person outside of your family do you think has had the largest impact or influence in your life?
Hmm. You didn't even have to finish the sentence. And of course, Gord pops in. He's my significant other, and he's been that for many, 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 many years. And that guy, talk about beating his own drum and the confidence that he has, and um, sometimes very frustrated with him because I've probably spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on trying to figure out who I am through courses, through workshops, through books, through meditation. And then I share it with him and he's got it. And so sometimes he ends up quoting something that I taught him, and just to sort of throw it back in my face, because he just seems to grasp who he is, and he does not follow anybody else's road or path. And I admire him for that. It's super frustrating too, of course, but I definitely would say that he has shaped my life in incredible ways. And often I kid with him. I say, just for one morning, I would like to be in your brain, and I would like to live from your vantage point, and his strength and masculinity and his confidence and his knowing, I guess.
See where he comes from and how he thinks.
Just to be able to
Yeah.
be in that place, because yeah.
That's awesome. Gord is an excellent guy. I enjoy talking with him when we're
Yeah,
around together.
yeah.
Who
He's
do you
got
think?
oh, sorry.
Sorry, no, go ahead.
No, I was going to say he does have a very he doesn't ever have to prove anything, and so he can be super quiet, and yet his confidence still exudes, I think.
Yeah,
That was just a little follow through.
yeah. He's very knowing of himself.
Yeah.
He knows who he is, and that's that kind of thing.
Hmm. Well said. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
who is your idol? Who do you look up to and say, I want to be like them, or I want to be how they are, or what they stand for?
Hmm. I struggle with that one, to be honest. I don't really have anyone in this moment that I idolize. I mean, I love a lot of, like, obviously, like the Dalai Lama or Deepak Chopra or Wayne Dyer. Like, I love those kind of beings, but I don't ever think of that I need to be like them, other than I want to, I guess, be connected to their wisdom. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yep.
I kind of, yeah, I think even as a young person, I remember us having to kind of have that as an essay, and I struggled with it because I was like, I don't really want to be anybody else.
Okay. Just be parts of them, or have parts of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great way to look at. I guess
Yeah.
because we all are one, and so maybe I would just want to feel more the connection to all of
Okay.
all of the beings, even the ones that we think we're not learning from. We are all meshed in that, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. How important is education in your life?
Well, I was a teacher for 25 years, so let's hope
Okay.
let's hope that um, that I don't live from the those who can't teach principle.
Okay.
There was this. I remember when I was first going into teaching, and it seemed like everybody knew that quote, and it just bothered me. But I can't really imagine. I mean, I guess education to me is so broad. I can't think of us never not learning, and
Okay.
I think of that we don't have to have education out of a book. We can go outside and watch a butterfly, and we can, you know, learn from just observing, and we can learn from a book, and we can learn from others. So education to me is such, like, it's such a, and I'm not sure, maybe you wanted your question broad, and I like that, but education to me is beyond a textbook, and it's beyond traditional ways of teaching. And even as a teacher, I guess I hoped that I always let the kids explore, if they were really interested in something, that they could take it down a whole different avenue than what just the curriculum said I was supposed to. So I
Right.
did try to provide avenues for kids to really, like, get excited about their own interests. And as of today, I continue to want to learn, and I want to keep growing, and whatever form that, I guess, education comes at me, sometimes, it's just something that, comes across. Somebody sends something, via text, and you read it, and you gain something from that. Yeah.
Nice.
So education
Nice.
for sure is like all, I, whether we, use the quote or not, I think we're all lifelong learners because we're here having life
Right.
experiences.
Right.
Yeah.
And we constantly grow.
Yes.
I always think of the movie The Dead Poets Society with Robin Williams,
Right.
where he made everything an enjoyable moment for the students, where they all participated in this learning, right?
Yeah, I
And
can see that,
it
a picture
wasn't
of that show
just,
right now. Yeah.
yeah, and it wasn't just learning from a textbook.
It came to life, didn't it? Yeah.
Exactly. So do you think one carries more importance over the other between classroom and life lessons?
Hmm. Well, I guess I would have to lean towards life lessons itself. And that I think the sprinkling of school education has its merits for sure.
Yep.
But
Okay.
yeah, I think sometimes we don't realize how much we learn
I
just from
I look,
being.
yeah, exactly. I look at my granddaughter right now,
Charlie,
and how
yes.
much she learns and grows. And I actually interviewed somebody the other day, and they were talking about their two kids, and they're 8 and 10, and she's a
Hmm.
teacher.
Right.
And she says, I'm supposed to be teaching these little people and teaching them about life, and giving them lessons and things. And she says, my kids teach me so much.
Yeah.
And, looking at the little kids and how much knowledge they soak in such a short period of time is amazing. And that's literally all life lessons because they haven't even been to school yet.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
read.
I think that classroom is like kind of a starting point.
Hmm. I read something once, quite a long time ago, and it was just just made me pause. They said, we will never learn as much as we will in the first 2 years of life.
Yeah, yeah,
And you think of where we start, where there's, no language, no speech, no communication. And then all of a sudden we're walking and talking and labeling and defining and so those first 2 years of life, supposedly we gain more, whatever, information, knowledge,
yep,
education than we will for the rest of our lives. So it's,
yeah. It's amazing. It
yeah.
is amazing. Yeah. So as a teacher
Hmm.
and teaching kids or even teaching yourself,
Right.
how do you know when you know?
Well, I always see it as it becomes anchored to the heart. It's as though the mind is no longer holding that information. The heart has it, and it comes from a different place. It doesn't come from necessarily like regurgitation or memory or from wanting to learn it. It comes from that place that is kind of
Okay.
almost as though you be it, you become it, you are it.
Okay. Like like it's just automatic. It's not, you don't have to think about it.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Exactly.
Okay. Did you ever play sports growing up?
I
Or
did.
did you?
I did
Okay.
a lot of I am still very active. I love movement. I love my body to be out in nature. My body loves moving. I'm sure that almost by the time I came out of the womb, I was doing cartwheels and somersaults and back handsprings. And I loved
Nice.
gymnastics as a young kid. And then I played like whatever there was available, whether I loved to skip too as a kid. And, but yeah, I did a little bit of like volleyball and basketball, like never excelled at that kind of stuff. Like it wasn't like going for provincial teams, but good enough that,
But
I
always
could
involved.
involved. Yes. Hiking, biking, yoga.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what kind of experience have you gained from being part of a team or in a team environment?
That's good because that's like, I guess as of recently, I haven't been on a lot of teams. So let me just see when I think back to basically it was, really supporting everybody else. If somebody was having a good game, cheering them on. If someone wasn't, I can kind of just picture a basketball team that we had. We were probably 15 or something. And somebody was excelling, could you like, be happy for them? And when someone was, not doing well, could you, boost them up? And could you sort of, work as a team, the whole concept, right? Like when somebody was having more issues, could you kind of change the role that they played to help support them so that they, could pass the ball more instead of shoot and that kind of thing?
Right. Right. Awesome. Awesome. Were you ever involved in like debate club or anything like that?
No.
No.
No, that was always something. And even like, to be honest, somebody asked me to do an interview probably 2 or 3 years ago, and I wasn't. I don't know why. I do have a little bit. I think you've helped me here. I mean, this isn't something that some people are really natural and feel really like almost excited. I wouldn't say that would be my story. So the whole thought of debating or putting attention on myself as an individual, that in fact still it scares me. I don't feel confident in that way to no. So the big
Okay.
answer is no.
Okay. Um, what is your why
My why in regards to what? To
to
life?
you, to life? Sure.
Okay, say it again. What is my why?
What is your why? It regarding however you want to take the question, whether you want it to pertain to your personal or your
Oh,
life or your
yeah.
career or
My,
what is
my
your why?
I don't know. I think my why would be, I don't know if this is answering it. This is what's coming from my heart, is that my why is to be the best version of myself, to show up
Nice.
to the universe without polluting it, without adding negativity, without adding more unnecessary fear. But really, my why is to be the best version that I can possibly be.
Nice. Awesome.
Thank you.
What is your biggest fear?
um, hmm. My biggest fear. Hmm. It's coming to the surface. Let me just see if it'll, it has something to do with, like, I really, 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 really want to, I already connect with animals and I do some communication, but I have stopped myself many times that I don't feel like it isn't quite perfect or right, or I worry that, you know, I can't do it. And so I think I don't know if it's my biggest fear. One of my fears is letting that dream go of really continuing to connect with animals on a level that I know is possible, on a level that I used to and I still can. But because I almost seem like I want it so bad, I've kind of pushed it a little bit away.
Put a
So
little block in there.
yeah, I probably just got in my way. So yeah, I think that'd be, it's kind of like,
Okay.
not, not being all that you're meant to be would be my biggest fear. Right. And I
Okay.
somewhere know that when my horse Lola passed, she talked to me so much, and she died, and I was right there with her, and a miracle happened within moments. And she gave me such clarity that this was no joke. This was no coincidence, that she was definitely communicating with me from above. And I was high. I mean, it was an incredible experience that no one will ever be able to take away from me. So I know she would love if I, you know, didn't get feared by my own fear.
Yeah, for sure. Nice.
Yeah.
What is your biggest motivator?
Happiness.
Okay.
If it feels good, I want to do it.
Nice.
And I try and kind of think of my motivation more as inspiration, so that it doesn't come from a place of force. It comes from a place of flow. And so I
Nice.
like to think what inspires me, and feeling good inspires me, and being happy inspires me, and being healthy inspires me. So anything that kind of keeps me, I guess, back to that why, which is being the best version of myself.
Nice. Perfect. That's awesome. What do you think inspired you to choose the career you're in right now?
It found me, and I had taken a break from teaching, and in my travels to Africa, and I just, through a person I didn't even know, stayed with another person, of course, I didn't even know, and they introduced me to an energy wellness therapy. And at that time, it wasn't really a big thing going around. It was like, it was still kind of out there. And I carried around a very large booklet about this thing called Body Talk, and, you know, went and did this Camino in Spain, and 300 kilometers. I carried this pamphlet in my backpack for some reason, but I didn't even really understand it, but I knew that I needed to carry it with me on the Camino. And when I
Nice.
got back to Canada, um, I I was connected to somebody that did this Body Talk, and I had a session, and she thought I already had a bunch of sessions, so she didn't explain much to me. And it was just a very weird experience, but I finished and I left the session, and she said, "Oh, by the way, the founder of Body Talk is here today, and somebody can't use their ticket, and then do you want it?" And it was like, absolutely. And so everything
Yeah.
just kind of happened really fast, and I just allowed it. And I just kind of went to his session that night. And I remember sitting at the university auditorium, and I didn't know anybody, but everybody that spoke, I felt like they were talking right to me. And so I just started taking the courses, and I was fascinated by it. And Gord really supported me. My family didn't. They all thought I was wacko. And as I kept taking the courses, and I decided that I had kind of come to the place where teaching was not making me as happy anymore. There was too many, rules and too many things that I was confined by. And this body talk kind of just said, it's time. And so I took that leap and started taking clients. And I was able to retire quite early from teaching. And
Nice.
I have kids in my practice, so I still get to see kids, and I still get to, um, connect with people. So my teaching background serves me well in my not even new anymore, in this kind of energy world that I get to work in now.
Nice. And can you explain just in a couple minutes what body talk is?
I use the kind of the umbrella of body talk, but I mean, and that's my main modality, but it's all just energy. So lots of people have Reiki or Touch for Health or anything with quantum physics. So basically we just kind of allow the client to, almost like through muscle testing, or some people, I guess they call it neuromuscular feedback. The client dictates the session by allowing us to sort of tap into what their body is saying. And as a practitioner, we have to be open to receive the messages. And it's just a beautiful kind of back and forth flow of energy. And whatever comes to consciousness, we talk about it. There might be body parts involved that are holding consciousness, or things that have stories. So the body is just this amazing vessel that holds information, and sometimes it just needs to express it. And sometimes when that is expressed, it's like the body is free and it has more space. And so then the brain and the body have a different connection after an experience of a body talk. There's tapping, there's breathing, there's laughing, there's crying. And yeah, it's just kind of like a cleanse.
Nice.
Thank you.
Awesome. That is excellent. Is there anything else you would like to do?
Well, besides that, like with the body talk, with energy communication, I mean, it's with the animals. And I do some animals now, but I guess I would like to do it in a kind of a more confident way. So definitely love to work more with animals. Um, No, I kind of feel like the energy and the animals and nature is sort of my vibe right now.
This is it.
It's filling up a lot of nutritional needs in me, so to speak.
Okay. So then if you could do or be anything at all without any possibility of failure, what would it be?
I just keep seeing me on the back of a horse, knowing exactly
Oh,
what the horse wants to
okay.
tell me. Yeah, just keep seeing the
Nice.
horse.
Yeah, horses are awesome. Nancy and I owned a
Mm-hmm.
horse for a while, and it was amazing. We used to go ride them once in a while. The
Mm.
kids were around them. Yeah, it was awesome.
They have a lot to teach us, and yeah, they're so forgiving, because
Yeah,
we do make a lot of mistakes, and yet they're just there.
yeah. What do you do in your spare time to take your mind off things?
Well, I'm definitely in nature a lot. I love to walk or run or bike, be in the coulees, ride horses. Um, that's something that I love, just being outside. I love to write. I write every morning. I journal. I don't
Nice.
write stories. I write what I guess for me feels like just connecting back with my soul or my source.
Okay, kind of
I
like a
meditate.
gratitude journal.
Yeah, kind of, but it doesn't have to. Sometimes it's messy, and sometimes there's no gratitude. Sometimes it's frustration
Okay,
and just a way to like scream at what's not feeling right, or what's not connecting
Right.
or what, all of that. So yeah, no, not always gratitude,
Okay.
but I meditate. I belong to a dream group where we analyze our dreams, and it's a really
Nice.
amazing group of people, and it's super intimate. And I realized that some of these people in this dream group know me better than
Then
my
you know
family.
yourself.
Well, than I know myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's a really that was a beautiful addition to my world. And I connect with friends. I've lived in a lot of different places, so I have friends in lots of different places that I keep in touch with. And
Nice.
yeah. And yeah, basically anytime I can kind of get outside and play, I love to play. um,
Okay.
yeah, so whether that's cleaning up the yard, or when I have a garden, I do a bit of gardening. Yeah, just yeah, being in nature is probably the best for my soul.
Nice. So you do your meditation and yoga and your own sort of self-healing.
I do.
What would you suggest for others?
Find what makes you happy and do it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I
Well said.
yeah, that's it. Like there's no recipe that's going to fit for everybody. Find your own ingredients and make the best soup possible, and
Nice.
and warm it up daily and eat it and enjoy it.
What do you think is the biggest lesson you've learned in life so far?
Hmm. The word failure popped into my head, and I'm not sure why. I probably um, that failure isn't failure. Failure is just a way of showing you something you need to do another way, or I don't know. I don't. It's funny. I can't quite. I don't feel like I've. I suppose we all hate to fail, and I guess if we could allow each other not to sort of see ourselves, and maybe that own, like, where have I failed and where am I still judging that? So I don't know. My biggest lesson is maybe allowing growth through whatever we call failure.
Okay. What one thing in your past do you think has given you your greatest life lesson?
Okay, give that one to me one more time. I got lost in it.
What one thing in your past do you think has given you your greatest life lesson?
Hmm. I've done a lot of traveling by myself. And in some of those times when I really trust my instinct, my intuition, I feel mm, the knowing that I am protected by something much greater than myself.
Okay.
And travel has given me that. I don't know. I did India and Africa, and some of those experiences, I guess, could have been, I don't know, you just hear like a lot of people before I left for some of those just in such fear for me. And obviously my parents, and I would just say, but that's not what I'm attracting. I'm not looking for the person who's going to hurt me. I'm looking for the person who will be there to help me and watch my backpack when I have to zip to the bathroom, or help me
Right.
find the right place to grab a ticket, or get on the right bus, or so I
Right.
think somehow independence or travel and kind of putting yourself in a very, where language is not easy, and yet somehow there's something else that you allow to gain momentum.
Okay. So talking about some of those things, how important are good and positive relationships in your life?
Everything. I mean, obviously the relationships that are good are there to sort of harness or match what you already want. And I guess the not positive relationships I find the most intriguing, because those are the ones that I know I have some huge growth. So right now I probably have a couple of relationships right now that cause me great pain when I think of them. And they are people that I care about, but the relationships are very, what is the word, dysfunctional. And
Okay.
I am still, I don't want to, like some people say, they're dead to me, or I don't care. I have pressed the pause button because I care, and
Yeah.
I care enough about myself not to force or make something happen that's not ready to happen. But equally important as great relationships, because they say we don't learn a ton from people who easily love us. we learn from the people who challenge us, and who sometimes hurt us, and who sometimes don't agree with us. And so I love my positive relationships. I love being with those people that are easy to be with. And yet I know that some of my other more challenging relationships are where there's a part of me that's like bursting to expand, to figure it out.
Nice. How important is it to have a positive attitude in all your dealings, whether it be with family, friends, work, or even in your own alone time?
There's no other way for me. As soon as this, virus broke out, and I don't know, I know there's all these beautiful things you can find online, and everybody's finding the silver lining, but I thought of it immediately. I immediately knew that the virus has a higher purpose. And so I I guess my default is set it positive. It doesn't mean I'm always there. Don't get me wrong. I have lots of like everybody else, but I guess I know where I really want to be, even when I'm down being negative, or when I'm sad, or when I'm frustrated. I know where I want to be, and I linger there. I try to linger there most of the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. And that's what I try to do. I try to be
You're
positive all the
very
time
positive. You
and
just
try to be
enter your
happy.
space, and you can feel your positivity.
Yeah.
You're like this big bubble of energy that when you just like kind of like even like whatever 8 feet away, you can already feel it hitting your energy field. So yeah, you're
Good.
that. You're that.
Good. Because that's what I try to be. I try to be positive and happy all the time.
I don't even think you try, Troy. So get rid of the try. You just are it. Because when we try, there's a forced piece, and you don't try. You just are it. You emanate it. I don't see you trying, because trying makes it hard. And
Yeah.
you just are it.
Well, good. I'm glad. Thank you for that.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Yeah. What is one thing that you've accomplished in your life so far that you're most proud of?
Everybody always says they're kids. I have no kids. I guess I could think of my puppy. No, I don't know, Troy. Hmm, hmm. Well, I'm really proud of the business I've grown with Body Talk, and I'm really proud of the
Nice.
clients that I've attracted, and I'm really proud that even in times where things change, that some of those clients still trust me at a distance. And
Nice.
I guess I'm very grateful for that. So I'm going to go with that one. Because
Nice.
when I left teaching and I thought I'm going to be this body talker, um, I didn't really have the details worked out. There was obviously something, again, bigger than me that trusted that, or that helped me grow a business. And yeah, sometimes I look back and I'm like, scratch the old head. It's like, how did I do that? So
How did this
yeah,
happen?
how did this happen? Yeah, how did I get there?
All of a sudden, here I am.
Yeah,
Just remember that wherever you are, that's where you will be.
there you go.
So, yeah. Is there anything that you've done in your life that you wish you could go back and change?
No, I don't know. That one came fast. I don't. I think
Yeah.
every action and reaction has caused me to be right where I am. And
Perfect.
yeah, I don't
Yeah.
dwell in regrets, I guess. It's done. I go forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that being said,
Hmm.
you wouldn't change anything, but If you could write a letter to your younger self, what age would it be and what advice would you give?
Hmm. It's weird if I could switch the letter around. What came up is that my 7-year-old self would like to write a letter to who I am now that says, I'm perfect as I am. Keep playing, keep having fun, keep being who you are, and don't give a damn about what you think you're supposed to do.
Nice. Nice. Awesome.
I think my 7-year-old self was very wise.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I think about that and I wonder, as a younger person, how wise were you? Because sometimes you're pretty wise.
Yeah.
It's amazing. If you could have lunch and a chat with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be?
Well, that good old Dalai Lama came in first, so I guess I shouldn't fight that. I didn't even, just the visual, he just popped in because I love his little laugh. Like I've heard him on interviews, and he keeps, what I love about the Dalai Lama is simplicity. He keeps everything so simple. And he really, way back when, I just remember kind of the word compassion really being something that I learned or heard or was intrigued about. And this probably was, like 30 or 40 years ago. I remember hearing the word compassion, which is so hip now. But back in the
Right.
day when it wasn't, I think I would attribute my understanding of compassion to the Dalai Lama. So
Nice.
I think I'd like to meet up with him.
Yeah. Cool. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Anywhere near water, ocean, someplace that is um, a lot of beautiful sunshine, and a place where um, it's at ease, like less mm, busyness, sort of.
Manana,
Oh, let's meet in Ecuador.
right? Manana. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
one of the things I've read all around South America. Manana is a big thing, and the meaning of manana I found out is maybe tomorrow, like not,
Oh,
but tomorrow never comes, right? So it's kind of like
right.
whenever.
Oh, so relaxed,
So
so chill.
yeah, so laid back. I actually worked with a lady in one of my jobs who had a place in Nicaragua, and
Mm.
she talked about some of the people she had doing renovations on her house, and it's stuff that you would think would take 2-3 weeks to get done. She was like 6 months in, and people would show up to work and they would do a bunch of things, and when they were there things would get done, but they might show up, they might not, you know what I mean? And it was just
Right.
like, it was, to them it was whenever we get to it, we'll get to it.
Such
So
a
it's
different
it's kind of,
philosophy than us, right? Like
oh
it would
yeah,
it would be interesting to see how someone like you and I would do there, because would that like drive us crazy? Because as much as I am relaxed, I also like completion. So I think that would
right,
be beautiful to test ourselves. It would just be so freeing not to have to like have all this. It's kind of like finite energy is what we live in when we want things a certain way, but they're more infinite. When you think of what you just shared, that's kind of like they're more in an infinite flow. This is like
yeah. Well,
whenever.
and
Yeah.
and one thing that I always think of is, when they down in South America, they are so bent on family, family and
Mm,
generations, and like when they have a family dinner, it's not, you know, you and your spouse and your children. It's like the grandparents, the parents, the
yeah,
cousins, the nephews, the nieces, it's everybody. And
everyone.
they are so into family, and they shut down everything to do family stuff
Yeah,
all the time. And
it's beautiful.
and like, I look at us in North America, like we're a fast food society, I always say.
Oh yeah.
because you want it now, you want it fast, and you got to get it done because you got to move on to something else.
Right. Yeah.
And I think sometimes, like you said, being down by the ocean or something, kicking back with your feet up and just relaxing
Oh
and
yeah.
taking in life, right? Like just enjoying
Yeah.
being.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be so awesome. Yeah.
I'll second that.
What type of music makes you happy? What's your go-to or feel
I'm
good music?
I'm pretty eclectic, but I do love like Keith Urban and Michael Bublé, and I like even Santana. And I don't know, I love songs that just like um, kind of make your body move. I like
Nice.
quiet songs too, but I think probably more of the upbeat ones. And yeah, but I'm pretty open. I like a lot of genres. I don't really have to. Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty
Nice.
open. Yeah.
Okay, so if you were stuck on a desert island
Mm-hmm.
and the device you had with nowadays with electronics, it would never die,
Mm-hmm.
but it could only play one song over and over without stopping. What song would it?
Ooh. Oh my gosh. Ooh. Hmm. Keith Urban. Who wouldn't want to be me?
There you go. Awesome. Awesome. It's
Hmm.
amazing. Okay,
Oh, the other
so
one that came up. Hang on. I
okay.
got a second one. Oh. It's uh Kermit the Frog, The Rainbow Connection.
Oh, there you go. Yep.
I don't know. He popped in. I thought, oh, I better include him. Okay.
Yep. Or it's not easy being green. No, Rainbow Connection, that'd be a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so one final question.
Okay. I'm
Um,
set. Drum roll.
Kate Kraft has
Yes.
gone through her life. She has accomplished everything she's ever wanted to accomplish. She has learned everything that she could ever want to learn. She's become the most amazing person out there. And when you pass on, you have to take everything with you, and no one here would know who Kate Kraft is. But if you could leave behind 3 lessons for life for future generations, what would those 3 lessons be?
Laughter, love, I long for more.
Nice. Laughter, love, and long for more.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you very much, Kate, for joining us. I
Hey,
appreciate it.
thank you. It
Um,
was fun. I was actually nervous, and I even had dreams about us last night that everything was going wrong and we couldn't connect, and I was saying things I didn't mean, and it was hilarious. And I don't know, like sometimes just something that gets me out of my comfort zone is so healthy, but I also sometimes, get in my head a lot.
well, maybe you'll have to bring that dream up with your dream group.
Exactly. I will for sure. I will for sure.
That's awesome. Again, I
All right.
appreciate your time, Kate. Thank you for
Okay.
joining
Have a
us. And
have a
this
great
has
day,
been
Troy.
Lessons for Life. Thank you, Kate. This has been Lessons for Life podcast. Join us again for another episode coming soon. Thank you.